1 year after its early access release on Nintendo Switch, No More Heroes 3 makes its way on every other platform, PlayStation 5, 4, Xbox, and PC. All in all, it's basically the exact same game with a visual upgrade to the point where you can now see Travis's wrinkles on his features, as well as blink and you miss it loading times. Seriously, the loading in comparison to how it was on the Switch is criminally insane when compared to everything else now. To sum up the story, Travis Touchdown returns to Stand and Destroy to face his past head-on after self-exiling himself in the events of Travis Strikes Again, which is highly recommended you play, by the way, for the sake of his wife Sylvia and his two kids Hunter and Jean. After going through all the UAA ranking business twice, only for an alien invasion to happen in the form of Prince Fu and his goddamn superhero crew. So Travis now must enter the Galactic Superhero Rankings, which is the only means he can challenge Prince Fu after he kills Mr. Black Hole, who was the first boss and who was sitting at rank 10, as it becomes a galactic battle of assassin versus aliens, as this also serves as Travis's biggest challenge yet. Welcome back to After Playing and the re-review of the re-release of No More Heroes 3, as I, Rex Bebop, give you my rating, or whether or not it's a buy now, wait till discount, or ignore it altogether. Let's do the rematch. Roll the intro, baby!
But simply conquering it is no fun.
When the conversation stops, that's when you die.
As I like to do with all my other reviews on this channel, I like to start off with the positives first and then work my way to the negatives. So let's talk about the positives of this re-release. And I like to start off with the presentation, as the presentation of No More Heroes 3 is still amazing to this day. It's like an insane anime you've been waiting for to come out that you get to play. It's presented like one before and after every rank fight. Even has a damn Netflix next episode nod. And it's probably the most stylish game I've played since Persona 5 that just oozes style, you know? They went for it and then some with the presentation of this whole game. Where it lacks in some areas, it more than makes up for it in the presentation alone. And it's not something I would just give out like that when comparing it to Persona 5. This stands up next to it, at least to me. Even a year after its release and, you know, on newer hardware, it still holds up in the presentation department, at least to me. The second positive I would like to give is to the combat, as I believe the combat is a more refined hack and slash version of Travis Strikes Against combat. Now, I say that because before playing 3, I went back to No More Heroes 1, which had both heavy and basic attacks, as well as Travis being able to kick and elbow people, which would stun the opponent, so you could set up a wrestling move like a DDT, a tombstone, pile driver, or a brain buster. No More Heroes 3, you basically keep slicing and dicing to the point the tension gauge is built up, which gives you a directional prompt to execute a death blow, which is basically the unstoppable attack with a large range that does heavy damage to enemies in front, as well as any other of the poor suckers that just happen to be nearby as the one you're targeting as well. Basically heavy damage. Upon successful executions of enemies, the slash reel will activate, which is basically the slot machine, which gives you a random chance of currency or another power up. Currency sucks, give me another power up, please, thank you. One of the great new additions to the combat I would have to give to the Death Glove too, which was carried over from Travis Strikes Again. The Death Glove allows you to perform a teleporting drop kick, freezing enemies, missile shower, and as well as pretty much a force push. Those other three skills you unlock later in the game. All skills operate on a cooldown timer, and there is a cheat or a death chip where you can actually unlock that actually gives you, it basically breaks the game, which is what I'm working toward. Pretty much all Death Glove abilities don't take any energy whatsoever. You could basically use them to your heart's content. It is a damn hard task and a half to unlock this. It really is. However, if you do get a jackpot on the slash reel, it's represented by 777s, which is which activates 1 or 2 full armor Travis modes, which boosts the player's attack options and allows them to fire missiles. Simply put, it's as if Grasshopper wanted to take a more Devil May Cry approach to the combat, which I applaud them for. Like, it really does show when playing this again. Positive number 3. I'm gonna have to give it to the soundtrack. It has a killer soundtrack, which is a big reason as to why I had to start over with this channel. Yeah, marvelous. I still haven't forgotten about that. Still can't ever forget that. I can't, man. Anyway, in combat is poetry in motion for the ears, and it helps with the hack and slashing everything in your path. The one fault that continues to this day, even with this re-release, is the heavy rotation of Phantom Skate, Dead Orca Force, and Head On Fight, which are the mainstays in the combat fights, as well as even some of the boss fights. No More Heroes 3's soundtrack is like TSA's, but has doubled down, and that's not a bad thing, as I still feel like this game's music aesthetic, it fits for what the tone of what they were going for with this game. However, I still would have loved to see a theme selection of the entire series OST. Maybe there could have been something done with that. It was, especially with selections for the combat, but I get why it just isn't possible. That may have not been possible, but it's still amazing regardless, because I still find myself head bopping every time a track plays whenever a fight started. The composers and everyone involved with the soundtrack deserve a round of applause and deserve to get paid. Seriously, there's a lot of deep shit happening with this, and I'm not going to waste your time here with it, but I'm just going to say do some research on that one, people. Seriously. The composers deserve a lot more than what they got. Just saying. The fourth and final positives I would like to give No More Heroes 3 is the ending. As this may be the last hurrah for our boy Travis Touchdown and his world, the ending to No More Heroes 3 gives us not only a glimpse of what could be in the future for a fourth entry 10 years from now, but it could give Travis an ending to a story after what has been a long road for the passing assassin. No More Heroes 3 does not go out with a whimper, but rather a massive ass bang and plenty of questions that still need to be answered. God, Suda, please don't do this. I've already made a video on this. I still want it. I still want a fourth entry, but I get it if you don't do it. I get it. But shit, it would be massively appreciated, man. All right, let's go to the negatives, and I have a lot. Let's get into them, shall we?
Welcome to hell.
And with every after playing review, it has to have negatives because no game is perfect, and especially with re-releases. And the biggest one for No More Heroes 3 still is the open world, so let's talk about it. Seeing as this is a return to Santa Destroy's open world since No More Heroes 1, it falls short, even on newer hardware. Santa Destroy is now broken into 5 territories. Hey, what's up? Editing Rex here. I completely forgot to mention that Thunderdome was a part of the territories you can now visit. Now that Santa Destroy is just like, you know, in sections. It's 6 sections rather than 5 sections you can visit. I don't know why I completely forgot to add Thunderdome in here when I was writing this, but I just did. And as I'm editing this, I'm like, oh, forgot about this, and I have footage for it. So this is what you're now seeing as the the interruption part. Usually I do bits for this, but I completely forgot about this one, so my bad. So you guys are gonna get it this way. So forgive me. And back to the review. Again, my bad about this one. After Fu invades, broken into Santa Destroy, Perfect World, Call of Battle, Neo Brazil, and Damon Tower. Damon Tower is basically the worst offender of the open world because it's basically just a fucking hallway. It's a singular hallway that they use for just getting the Fu, having the most basic bitch enemies to get through, and Travis goes full armor mode for whatever reason. It's not like if this was Let It Die or something and we go through 50 or 100 floors just to get up the tower. No, it's just one hallway, and it remains one hallway. And I still hate that. I hate it. I still hate this. And call a battle with the shitty sepia tone over top of it and the unnecessary barricades surrounding the area. I hate these two. And I want to add Neo Brazil on here because it's just basically just... It still looks like it was supposed to be so much more than what it is. And again, it just makes me mad. Like, these three are the worst offenders to me personally. Aside from Santa destroying Perfect World, they just feel like they were supposed to be so much more. But them's the breaks when you're dealing with scheduling and budget issues, I guess. All the city offers is mini boss battle, designated fights that serve as keys to face the next rankings match, side jobs to get the money needed to face the next boss as well, and finding collectibles such as scorpions, shell heads, Deathman cards, Gene's kids, and Gene the cat got around apparently, and doppelgangers. Yeah, that exact doppelganger from Travis Strikes Again is here, and we can't fight him. That's another negative right there. It fits into this whole negative right here. Gone are the days of getting in the stores and getting to customize Travis, which brings me to my next negative. I still can't believe they put Doppelganger in here. We can't fucking fight him. I still can't believe that shit. Next. Second negative I would have to give to the lack of customization. I really don't know what the hell happened here. Again, it could have been the time crunch or a budget issue, but how hard would it have been to bring the customization from No More Heroes 2 to this game? Especially when No More Heroes 2 improved on the customization that the first game gave, and even TSA, all we had was switching shirts, which is the exact same problem that this has, except we get to change outfits. That's the only difference. The only difference here is we only get 3 alternative outfits that isn't the No More Heroes 3 default look, and we can change shirts, and that's about it. We also unlock the outfits from No More Heroes 1, 2, and TSA after beating the game. Thank God that stayed in. And again, we can just change shirts, and that's the extent of changing Travis's look. Before we can change his glasses, his wristbands, jacket, pants, and even shoes in No More Heroes 1 and 2. This just feels like a massive step back. Even worse when you find out that Travis's default Bloodberry beam katana is all we have to use this time. No Tsubaki Mark III, no Peony, not even the dual beam katana Rose Nasty, which was passed down to Travis from OG Bishop and No More Heroes 2. There's not even a display of the old beam katanas in Travis's apartment, so where the fuck are they? No switching beam katanas on the fly like No More Heroes 2, just the regular Bloodberry. And recently, Suda even mentioned in a recent interview that he regrets not giving Travis more weapons, as Travis was supposed to have 3 weapons instead of just the Bloodberry. It's something he will reconcile in a remake or a remaster 10 years from now, but he can't make any promises as of right now. Suda, I love you, but the fact that we had options in 1 and 2, and you take that away in this one, kind of unforgivable, man. It sucks. It sucks. You give us options and you take that away. Let's just get into the third negative. Alright, third negative. As much as I love this game, I still can't help but dislike the sometimes bait and switch when it comes to fighting Fu's crew, or the kill stealing that likes to occur in this fucking series. Sometimes someone would get killed in the cutscene by someone and just be switched with someone else altogether, and Travis would still move on up in the galactic rankings due to a technicality. Sylvia would still count this. It's like, okay, I didn't kill them, but they still got killed, so you still move up. What the fuck? It's not as bad as No More Heroes 2, where we were promised to go through 50 rank assassins and a bunch of bull happens in between, where that never happened, or we were just flat out lied to. But it's still bad in 3's case, because all of these galactic superheroes had killer designs, and I would have loved to actually have fought them all rather than them just some of them getting killed by someone else and then having to fight someone else in their place. This is still an issue to me, so I'm still counting it here. I just hate the bait and switch. I still do not like it. I'm definitely going to piss someone off this final negative I'm going to give No More Heroes 3, but it has to be said. I'm going to give it to the story. The story from the opening where Fu and his crew attack the city, to the battle with Black Hole, to then Fu getting revenge on Travis where he comes to the motel, fucks him up, takes Shinobu's arms, and kills Badman, thus traumatizing Bad Girl in the process. The story doesn't pick back up until the battle with Sonic Juice, and then afterwards where Henry shows up for his rematch. At least to me personally. The sense of urgency to battle Fu just kind of disappears after he attacks Travis and the others, which really sucks. At the end of the Sonic Juice battle, Fu antagonizes Travis once more, which is something that he's done very little of since he showed up at the motel. I can safely say with every other No More Heroes game, each one kept the sense of urgency to be the best at the top of the rankings, to get to the top of the rankings, and to kill who's at the top of the rankings. Even TSA, with getting through the whole going through every death ball and collecting the death balls, and Travis killing his video game heroes along the way. Not only that, but both Shinobu and Bad Girl are pretty much thrown to the wayside after Fu's attack as well. Shinobu's bedridden throughout the game into the final battle with new arms, and Bad Girl, as I mentioned earlier, is basically traumatized after seeing her father murdered when she shows up late after the fight. The reason I even bring this up is that these two girls are playable in Travis Strikes Again, and now just to be sidelined into the end game and you still can't play as them, which is another thing that got cut in the game's production. There's a lot of that going around in this game. A lot of, although we planned this, but we couldn't due to time and budget. It sucks. Again, the story is just like, okay, Fu jumps him and then just fucks around, telling he believes in his crew along the way. And Travis and Fu don't really interact until like the Sonic Juice fight, which is like, I don't understand it. I don't understand like what the fuck happened. Like in the first game, Travis wanted to be the best to sleep with Sylvia. No More Heroes 2, Travis wanted to get the Jasper Bat Jr. wanted to get revenge on Jasper Bat Jr. So there was like urgency, a sense of urgency, and we felt that throughout every single game. This one, okay, Sonic Juice about to betray Fu, and then he comes in and just fucks around with him, and it's just like, oh, you getting soft to me, assassin, huh? And then they're like, oh, fuck your heart, man, I fuck you up now. It's like, that's the kind of vibe I got from this. It's like you start off very strong, and then it just kind of withers until like the almost end of the game, which it sucks. It's just me. It could be just me on this one, but replaying this again really just made me think like, wait a minute, Fu really don't fuck around with Travis as much as he should. I wish that there was like more fucking around with him, and more like, oh, I gotta kill this fucker Fu from Travis. At least to me anyway. Alright, final thoughts, let's get into it. Final thoughts. On my buy, wait till discount, or ignore ranking, I say if you're a fan of No More Heroes or Suda51's work in general, you would have already been playing this again and playing the re-release anyway. But for the unaware, I would more lean toward like a buy now or wait till discount. Like on the verge of both of them at the same time. Especially if you love hack and slashes as well as absurd animes, because this again really plays as an absurd anime from start to finish. But if you want to give this a shot at a discount price, I understand that too, which is why it's like it really teeters on both a buy and a wait. I feel No More Heroes 3 is going to go down as Suda's best games in his lineup despite the faults it has. This man goes completely balls to the wall with this entry, and I can't undersell that enough. With the several references to other games, anime, as well as a crash course in who Japanese filmmaker Takashi Miike is seriously the otaku and Travis characters in full effect in this, especially when going on about Miike, so be prepared for that if you have yet to play this. The conversation with him and Bishop are just like, alright. I know this dude is now. He seriously does need to make that No More Heroes live action though. I would really like that. With that being said, if it wasn't obvious enough, this is the first time I've actually gave it like both negatives and positive at the same time. It's a tie. But I still love this game. And on better hardware, I'd say I had a much better time with it on PlayStation 5 than I ever did on Switch. I still find myself coming back to it now and going full balls to the wall and trying to get those dev chips that I didn't even bother with after completing it on the Switch. It's better than it ever was on Switch, at least for me personally. Despite the praise, I feel like it could have been so much better if it was given more time and more of a budget. However, again, if this is Travis Touchdown's last ride for the next 10 years of him trying to find that place called Paradise, I can't think of a more suitable way for him to go out. And that's it. I still love this game, despite the faults that I have for it. It's still one of my favorite action games of all time, as well as one of my favorite hack and slash games of all time. Even if most of the positives I would really give it are the in-between parts. Because again, the story just it's there, but a lot of too much in between, and then it just kind of the gas just kind of hits the fire again toward the ending, especially at the Sonic Juice. I still love this game, despite everything. I still love it, but I always think of what could have been with this if it was given more time and a budget. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed my re-review of No More Heroes 3. I'm getting out of here. Still love it. Still recommend it. Even with the faults. I love it. I love this world this studio created. I still love this franchise. I only hope that No More Heroes 1 and 2 get the same treatment at some point. Because these need the same treatment of just going on better hardware. I'm sorry, but they do. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Rex Bebop signing out. Peace. See you when I see you. Be safe out there.